they're not. Oh, there she is. Everybody said they're not coming. So we are recording. Hi, Jan. So like I said, I've had about 6 people say they want the recording this morning. So that means that it is just us here today, which is fine. As you know, you can have the recording if you can't make it. It still counts as one of your credits though, just so you know. And we can get onto the mat. Oh, just going to adjust the position of the yoga. Too far. There we go. All right, so let's come onto the yoga mat. I'll start with the feet, hands, and face reflex. So, as always, we can do this one standing quite nicely, quite easily with tiptoes and heels. Tiptoes and heels. Tiptoes and heels. So this is a lovely exercise. But you know, there are other alternatives as well. So you could do the funny walk, where we walk on the heels, on the edges of the feet, on the instep of the feet, on the balls of the feet. And like this, they all do the same thing, which is to bring awareness to the feet in different ways. Okay, so you can choose whatever one you like to do. And then when you feel that fatigue come in, you're going to bring everything to stillness and really notice the feet, perhaps draw an outline around the toes, around the sides of the feet, the heels. Just really have that sense of grounding through the feet. Take a breath. And as you breathe out, imagine the breath is like rain and it's trickling all the way down the body and watering those feet. And then we'll move on and do the hands. So again, we can rub the hands, massage the hands, press the hands. Eventually you do get, you get your favorite, you get what you like the most. I really like this one at the moment, the pinching of the fingertips. I don't know why, but it feels really good to do this one at the moment. Follow that with a good press in the center of the hand where the actual reflex point is. And for me, it's magic. It works really well. So just bring the hands by the sides and feel them there. Take a breath. And as you breathe out again, water your hands with the breath, water the feet. So we're feeling the feet and the hands at the same time. And that feeling begins. It's starting already. Now let's come to the face. So again, options. We can do this one where we pull up with the hands and draw down with the jaw. And release. Notice how you can feel that one right back to the back of the jaw and throat. And then relax, and then you can couple it with something lighter like tapping or stroking. And as the jaw really begins to release, you can sort of feel that unhinging that's happening not just here in the jaw joint, but right back to the back of the throat. And we'll need to find that place again later when we do the neck. Okay, so let's take a breath and feel the face, the jaw, the hands and the feet all at the same time. Just have that little moment. Feet, hands and face. I am safe. Oh, and you can sort of start to identify that sensation that comes in as that feeling of stability and safety in the nervous system. And then we're ready to start. So we'll start with the sun salutation. Notice where your feet are, bring your hands into position. And as you notice where the hands are and you look up and back, relax the jaw, open the chest, breathe in, stretching from the inside out on this one. And then as you breathe out, feel the hands travel through the air all the way. Notice where they land, what they hold on to, the texture. Let go of your jaw as you come into a forward bend. Quick reminder here of all the things we've done in the last couple of weeks. Letting go of the legs, so pulling out that lower pin, as I like to call it, pulling out the legs, feeling the bottom like a sack of potatoes and the spine feeling loose. And then the top half, the shoulders relaxing, orangutan arms. The hot plates penetrating in the shoulder blades, heating up your shoulder blades. The diaphragm warm and the spine feeling loose there. Breathing in, we're going to look up and flatten the back. And as you breathe out, we're going to fold forward, letting the head go. Let's take a step back with one leg and come into dragon pose. And so we are pushing on the floor here with our hands so that we can really let our legs go. So the FPR reflex here, really coming in, your ability to unhinge those legs from the end of the body and drop them down. At the same time, we've got the hot plates at the bottom, reminding us like a sack of potatoes to let the body go. Let the weight of your body go. That creates a really strong stretch. And we want to have the spine feeling loose. So you could even circle it here and just double check. Does it feel like it can stir that suit? And that's that lower back pin all pulled out. If you feel confident that you can hold this without wobbling, you can come up, breathe in and reach up. And then we'll bring the hands back down. Still leaning forwards. Relax the back of the neck. We'll be working with this and the jaw. And now bring this front foot into plank. So here we have to get our heart rate up. So don't forget to breathe. Feel the force that you have to push the floor away from you, but link it with your core, remember? And lift up the marble from below. And breathe. Remember, this breath and this heart rate going up means that your veins will stop being all concertinaed and they'll fill up and become healthier. And then we come down, so a little bit of motivation always needed there. Let's bring palm upon palm and place the forehead on the ground and we'll start to bottom roll. So again, this is an FPR Moro move. To not just loosen the lower back, to loosen the diaphragm as well. And it's a tiny movement, side to side in a nice rhythm. So tune into a rhythm. Maybe you've got an earworm or a song in your head. Maybe it's just a drum beat or a count or a rhyme. And we're just moving to that rhythm. And the rhythm roughly, it's quite fast. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to let the lower back feel like a blob of jelly as it rocks from side to side. Now again, quite soon there's going to be a change. You might feel like you need to take a deeper breath. Or there's a warmth or a flush of heat. Sometimes it's a thought, you're quite happily in your rhythm and the thought comes in sideways like I've left the gas on. Whatever it is, that's your sign. Change has happened and we bring that to stillness. Letting the legs go, feel that sensation of release. Remind yourself of it so that you can use it later when we're stretching. Bringing the hands around, keep the back as relaxed as it is. Push through the hands, breathing in, looking up, breathe in, and lengthen the spine. And then an extra little push here to come into puppy pose. So we're not quite sat down on the heels. We're leaning out of the wrists, so the hands are kind of stuck to the mat. And we can feel the wrist, elbows, and shoulder joints expanding, and that expansion coming down into the rib cage. And then we come across the very tight diaphragm. So we have the opportunity to give it a rock. So give your hands one pull, one, then the other, one, then the other, pulling, 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 and just getting that rock all the way up into the ribs. Now, because we're stretching at the same time, likely is that the change will happen a lot quicker than normal. And so then, we'll bring it to stillness and just observe our work. See what happens here in the body as we release. Relax your jaw. Put your head down. More of that to come. Let's bring the hands a little bit closer in. Tucking the toes under, we're coming into downward dog. And here in downward dog, we're letting the legs go. So we've got the lower pin being pulled out. And then we've got to work on the upper back as well. So we're reaching with the hands, but the arms are orangutan, you've let them go. You can feel the shoulder blades, they're nice and warm, and the diaphragm. Perhaps it needs a little bit more. You could give it another little rock here, use the hands and just rock it side to side and see if you can loosen it. Or it might be that the spine feels tight between the shoulder blades, and then you need the STNR reflex, the S to C, S to C, S to C. Either way, do whatever feels right for you to loosen this upper back as much as possible. Relax the jaw, let it go. Of course, at some point you need to bring it all to stillness, bring the whole jigsaw puzzle of the body together, let the legs go, all the different reflexes doing their job. Don't forget to breathe. Relax into it. And then whichever leg went back, it's that leg that now swings forward. And we're going to lean in. So we've got dragon pose on the other side. Dragon pose because the leg feels like a tail that you're leaving behind. Push the floor away from you. Let those legs go. Drop the sack of potatoes in your bottom. Feel the weight. Feel the looseness of the spine. And when you've got that pattern there coming up, engaging the core, breathing in, reaching up. And then coming back down with the hands. Second little push here, and a second deeper relaxation for this groin. And then this back leg is going to come forward to meet the front leg in a forward bend. So if you've discovered that your diaphragm is really, really tight today, then grab hold of your elbows here and give yourself another little rock. Another little ribcage rock to help you release it. Again, because you're stretching a bit, it'll come quicker. Otherwise, it could be your neck and shoulders that are tight, and you might orangutan your arms or feel the hot plates melting down the arms. Release the jaw and head. Breathing in, we're going to look up, flatten the back, and then come down breastbone first with a nice flat back to let the head roll off. And then uncurling slowly. Slowly, slowly uncurling. Head comes up last. And then we're going to breathe in, reach up. Now open up the chest. See how different it feels. And then bringing the hands together. Drawing this line down the center of the body. And when I mean drawing, use your thumb so that you can feel it all the way down. Turn the hands around, the little fingers now up to the bottom. Breathing in one more time. Hands drawing this line so that when I land here, my thymus gland, we can have a moment here to feel that line in the center of the body that I've just drawn. To feel the feet either side of the line, the hands on the line, and the jaw letting go into the line. And I'm going to allow all my thoughts and all my distractions that are around me to just fade away as I bring all of my attention to this center line. With the feet, the hands, and the face. So beautiful centering exercise. Take a breath. And really center here right now in this moment. Lovely. And then we'll release. Oh, we've got a leg come up. Lovely. Okay, so then let's have a little bit of a knee bend. So a little bit of warm up for the joint. So remember there's a little bounce in this when we're doing it. So you're bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. And that gets the joints nicely warmed up. And then we're going to go one side and then the other. One side and then the other. Get that little bounce in. We're looking over the shoulder, getting the spine to warm up, the hips to warm up, and then we're going to come up. So we can stop the bouncing when we come up halfway, and as we get to here, we're reaching, 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 so warming up under those shoulder blades, coming back down. And then you're going to work your own way up and down according to what your body needs. So if you got up here and you went, oh my God, that's really tight up there, then do a little bit extra up here, still looking behind you, still reaching. If it was in the middle, do more there, and so on. So at some point, though, you do get a little bit dizzy. I'm not so jealous, a little bit dizzy, and you might need to ground. So here we go, lovely grounding exercise again. This one is the pyramid pose. Pyramid because the feet draw a line to the hands draw a line to the shoulders and neck. The peak of the pyramid is in your neck. And you want to keep these lines straight. So you breathe in, and then as you breathe out, you rotate through the center line of your spine, but you don't lose the pyramid lines. Breathing in back to the center, and then going the other way. Back to the center, and then the other way. And back to the center, last one. And then we come back to the middle, and lo and behold, when we come out of this, we really are quite in our body. That's why I love doing it. We've got away from all of that up there and out there, and we're back here, where we belong. Okay, so we're going to work with the neck today. So I realised that I haven't spotlighted myself, so I'm going to do that. And so that you can see both screens. Now, both screens don't get videos, but you will be able to see it through the class. Because we need to sit down, and we need to do some of the neck reflex exercises, which are always better done sitting down, and then we'll come back up to standing in a minute, okay? So find a comfortable way to sit. You could be on a chair if your legs don't like it. You could be kneeling, you can be cross-legged. It doesn't really matter, okay? And you can change position anytime, because we're going to do quite a few. So the neck reflex is all about the positioning of the head, okay? So we see this in babies. You know, when they're first born, they have no idea where to put their head, and the head's sort of rolling around all over the place, you know, and eventually, somehow or other, they work out the perfect place to put their head. And they do this by a series of movements. Now, one of them is just playing, so circling. So if you think about just a little tiny circle rather than a big one, at the very top. Now, what I think of the spine like this, in this reflex, is like a flagpole. It's got a nice rounded end. And I'm just sort of polishing the top of the flagpole, the very top only for now, just to find that very top. And it's getting greasier and greasier the more I go around. Greasier and greasier. Don't forget to change directions. Now, then you might expand a little bit and do bigger ones, but you're still always aware where the top is now. Now, of course, babies, when they do this, it's far more disorganized than this, but we're doing it in a nice organized way. Don't forget to change direction, and then come back up to the very top. So when you're done circling, come up to the very top, circle a couple of times at the very top, and place your head there. And notice the response in the shoulders. Feel that orangutangness from the TLR reflex be a little bit stronger. Lovely. Okay, the next thing that they do is polishing. So if we start to polish side to side, the top of the flagpole with our head as if it were a cloth. Relax your jaw. We'll be doing the mouth reflexes soon to cover this as well. And then we start to drop the chin. Now what you'll notice as you start to drop is that at some point you can feel the upper back pin that we've been working on. So you might need to work a bit harder at letting that go. Shoulders orangutan, spine feels loose, diaphragm is warm. And then as you get even lower down, now babies can actually drop their chin onto their chest and do this, it's crazy. But just then think, oh, as I get further down, I can start to feel my lower back pins needing to go. I need to put down my sack of potatoes, feel the legs letting go, the spine feeling loose. Relax your jaw. Let it go. And then we're going to come back up. And as we come back up, it's like, oh, what was all that tension about earlier? Now it feels easy. And then we're going to just slightly go over the other side of the flagpole. Still polishing. Relax your jaw. You can see how the jaw and throat really play a part here. And then we're going to bring it back up. And again, place it at the very top of the spine. Again, stop and notice. Look, feel that nervous system, what it's doing. It's repatterning everything. It's letting go and relaxing. Okay, so then we're going to do one of my favorite ones, which we've done before, some of us, and that's the circle and the square. So if we think of the circumference of our head as a circle, and it's inside a box with 2 corners at the front and 2 corners at the back, and then in the center of the circle is a pencil. Okay, so then we're going to point our pencil to corner 1, and then center, corner 2, and then center, behind you corner 3, and then center, corner 4, and then center. Now turn the chin towards the shoulder, and now point to one corner, doesn't matter if you rename them, and center. Turn the chin, the other corner, and center. Turn the chin behind you, and then center. Notice that the tricky bit here is the centering. This is how we're learning to center the head. The other side, point, and center. And again, have a moment to feel the body. Now, if it feels a bit too much, use feet, hands, and face to stabilize your nervous system as it's learning something new. Breathe. And then we're going to do it again, but this time with a little bit more fluidity. Because, you know, this is what we want. So we do 1, center, 2, center, more rhythm, 3, behind you, center, 4, center, turn the chin, 1, center, turn the chin, 2, center, turn the chin, 3, center, turn the chin, 4. Now, I might have been too fast, but that's fine. You know what you're doing now. Again, when you bring it back to center again, noticing how it feels. Release the jaw, the tongue. Lovely. So again, now we know exactly where the top of the spine is. And what's more, when we know, and it's all nice and greasy, what we've got is an independent head. So it feels like I can move my head in any direction. And we're just going to do random movement here. Random movement, and the head feels like it's floating off the end of the spine. There's no muscle anywhere in the shoulders or the neck that are holding on. Now, that might not be the case for you just yet. Remember, that's the ideal. That's what we feel when the reflex is really well integrated. Okay, final one then. You can stay seated. I'm just going to show you this one a little bit closer up. We need to do some more for the jaw. Because as you can see, there's 2 reflexes here. Actually 3 if you include the shoulders. So I'm going to bring my hands into this V shape and place it on my chin bone. I've got my other hand at the back here. And I'm going to push my chin into my hand. 1, 2, 3, and relax. And again, 1, 2, 3, and relax. And another one. 1, 2, 3. Now this time as it relaxes, close your eyes and really notice how the relaxation goes all the way back to where we've just been working. And so these 2 reflexes working very closely together. So make sure that when I say release your jaw, when we're stretching in a second, that this is what you're remembering, not just to unhinge here, to take it all the way to the back of the throat. All right, let's stand up then, and we're going to do a little bit of forward bending. In fact, we're going to do a bit of head dangling, as I like to call it. We'll start with a nice, easy way of doing this. So bend the knees right down. Allow yourself to lean on your thighs so that we're not doing very much with the lower body. And then we're going to let the head go. And here you have a couple of options. You can either bring the hands just sort of either side of the ears. There's kind of like a bit of bone that you can hold on to. Or you can bring the hand to the center of the head. And we're going to circle the head. Now the hands are doing all the moving. Okay. And again, we're trying to get this greasy point to let go of the head as much as possible. You might rock it forward and back. You might, now side to side, I like to use two hands, so you're polishing. You might even do a circle and a square. Point to the four corners, turn the chin and point, turn the chin and point, turn the chin, all to design to teach this head to let go. When you're finished, feel the weight of the head, relax your jaw and really let it dangle. Now you're going to find other places down the back, the other pins we've been working with needing to be letting go too. Bring the hands to something, push with the hands and straighten your legs and try and keep your head dangling, relax the jaw. You might need to circle it a little bit more. And then we're going to walk the hands up to the knees. And then we're going to start to uncurl really slowly, like a fern leaf. Leave the chin down, because that's the end of the fern, and that is going to unroll last. And when you come up, you're going to place the head at the very top of the spine. And just feel your feet, your hands, and your face. Let your nervous system take all of this in. It's a lot of information. And of course, we've got all the other pins doing their job really well. We've got the legs letting go. We've got the sack of potatoes sinking, the spine feeling loose. The arms are orangutan. The diaphragm is warm. The hot plates heating you up. And the head right in the right place. And just see how good and familiar this patterning of our body going back to our original blueprint feels. And how then stretching from here can really help to get better stretches. So let's take one step forward. We'll do one hamstring at a time. So remember, as the stretches get a little bit more challenging, what happens is that we find that we can tense different parts of our body. Okay, so let's bend the knee, we're going to lean forwards and let the head go. And here we are, straightening that front leg for a really strong hamstring stretch. And there's a very direct correlation between tension in the hamstrings and in the back of the neck. FPR reflex affects both these areas. So you need to work with both. You need to let go of the legs as if you're dropping them off the end of the body. Feel the hot plates like a sack of potatoes dropping. And then come back to the head. How loose is it? You might need to polish it, circle it. I certainly recommend that if your neck is stretched or tense all the time, that you constantly find that ease of movement. And then we let go of the jaw and suddenly, whoa, we can stretch. And then we're going to swap sides. So we're going to step forward with one foot, step back with the other. And again, get that stretch, hamstring stretch, so challenging because they love to scream blue murder at you. But then there's an undercurrent of letting go and the heavy sack of potatoes in your bottom, and then the head releasing, feeling loose, circle it, relax the jaw, and it all eases up. Lovely. Let's bring the feet parallel. So I have a little boy who comes to me very FPR, very tight hamstrings. And when I'm trying to stretch his hamstrings out for him, he constantly just rocks his head. He has just learned that how much that helps. Give the head a little rock, and when it stops, oh, it seems like all that pain, at least some of it, goes. With both legs stretching now. And again, we're just going to gently uncurl. Bringing the head up last, like the tip of that fern. As it rolls to the very top of the flagpole, release the arms, orangutan. Let go of the spine. Feel the legs dangling, the arms dangling. And just see how well stacked we are. Then we're going to come onto the floor. This is another reflex move for this particular area. All the time, we're going to teach the head, you know, that it is reacting to the movement of the body, not stuck at the end of the body. So if we place the head on the floor here, and we're going to use the hands. We discovered last week, remember, that with the STNR reflex, that the pulling and the pushing of the hands and the movement of the spine means that the spine can loosen off. But now with the head on the floor, we're going to roll over the head. Now we're not trying to stretch here. We're trying to get this feeling that the head is on the ground. That it's a heavy cannonball and that we are merely just rolling over it. Relax your jaw, pushing and pulling from the forehead as far back as you can go. And all the time the head feels loose. How heavy can I get my head to feel? Now again, this is a reflex move, so listen to your body. If there's a response within 10 seconds, you stop. If it's in 30 seconds, you stop. A minute, and it's only up to 2 minutes. Unlikely to be 2 minutes for this one because it's quite a rich reflex. There's lots of information coming into the nervous system. But when you're done, you're going to place the head on the floor, relax your shoulders, orangutan them by your sides, and feel the weight of the head. Put it down. Relax the jaw and really put it down. And depending on your nose and sort of forehead situation here, you can either bring your hands around and make a little pillow, or you can try and rock your head from your forehead and do a little bit of extra polishing here. And then bringing it to stillness. And again, having that, remember we're learning a pattern here. What is it? What is the pattern? When we pull that pin out in the neck, the arms relax, the jaw goes, and the head feels heavy in this instance. And then we're going to gently and slowly come out of this. We'll do it slowly because you can disorientate yourself quite easily, because this reflex is all about head positioning, head righting, and orientation. So, for example, if you're on a motorbike and you go around a corner, your head will normally right itself so that your eyes can keep sight of the road. Yeah, if you were to go like this, not only is your vision distorted, but you'll probably fall off the bike as well. So that's what this reflex is doing. So whatever the spine does, the head responds. If you know you're in an arch, the head goes up. If you're in a C, the head goes down. If you're going sideways, the head rights, the head rights. If you're looking over your shoulder, the head follows. Okay, so it's all about righting. And if you're resisting that righting, if your head isn't feeling greasy and loose on the end, that's when the body starts to bring in muscles that it doesn't need to use. All right, so what you can do whenever we're stretching, so in the way that it applies to our stretches, is to always check that the head is in the right place. So for example, you can do a forward bend and be doing this, and your head is not, it's righted itself, but it's not actually at the top of the flagpole. Okay, it's over righted itself, and it's causing tension in the chest. So you can always check. So let's just try it together. Just bring yourself into a forward bend. Feel the hamstring stretching, of course, that's always very alerting and it can put us into that brace mode that I talk about. So we need to work with all the reflexes as we have been for the last few months. So we're pulling out the lower pin, pulling out the upper pin. And then we're just making sure that head is just still looking up slightly, but it's on top of the black hole. Relax. And then the jaw releases, and that then affects the lower back pin, and we feel that the legs can let go a little bit more. And we feel that we can put down our bottom a little bit more, and the spine feels a bit looser. And then as we work our way down and the stretch gets stronger, we might then come back to the neck and just double check, am I tensing my jaw? Does my head still feel like it's on a greasy pole at the end of the spine? Check it, circle it, polish it, whatever you need to do. And you can have a really lovely stretch here. And just see how these two pins really speak to each other. And as you come back up, again, apply everything you know. Let the legs go. Feel the hot plates here. Sink the bottom down. All these reflexes we've been learning over these past few months. The arms orangutan and the head now at the very top of the spine. Neither forward nor back, neither side to side, right on the very top, and the jaw relaxed. Okay, so let's try this on a pose that's slightly more challenging because we are using our arms. So sometimes when we use our arms, we can tense quite a lot. So you can start a little bit of this with just having a sense as I do cat and cow here. Remember, we're pulling and pushing with the hands, so we make it a slightly more reflex-based move by pulling so the spine can be loose and pushing. But then notice how the head, at the very end of that wave, is moving. It responds. It hangs off when you're in the cow. And it reaches slightly while you're in, hangs off when you're in the cat and reaches slightly when you're in the cow. Just to get that real sense of, yes, my head can smooth across that top of my flagpole. And then bring your spine to neutral, neither S nor C. Tuck the toes under. Bring yourself into a downward dog. Now it's up to you if you want to stretch your hamstrings. You could do all of this with the knees bent, but do have a good push through the arms. And at the same time, orangutan them. Feel the hot plates and where the shoulder joints are, the wings warming you up. And then you can sort of polish your head here. Or circle it. Or even circle in a square. So point, point, point to the four corners. Turn the chin, point, turn the chin, point, turn the chin, point, turn the chin, point, and then bring it back to stillness. And notice the effect that has on the rest of the body as the neck releases, becomes heavy, and the jaw relaxes. And stay there for as long as you like, because you get more and more comfortable as the months go on. But when you're done, place the head on the floor, bring the arms by your sides again. And again, notice now, look how the head really feels like we can put it down now. And try and remember this feeling. What it feels like for the head to be really heavy and easily put down. These are the patterns that we're trying to learn. Lovely. So when you feel ready, I hate to disrupt you, but this is only an hour-long class. We have to keep moving, unfortunately, if we want to cover everything. I guess if you've got it on replay, you could just slow the bits, you could just pause or something if you're enjoying yourself. But we're going to come and do some side bending. Because side bending is one of the poses in which the head very often is not in the right place and causes an awful lot of stress, and more stress than we really need. So we've got the legs nice and wide apart. We need to start working first of all on that lower pin, letting the legs go, feeling the heaviness of the sack of potatoes as I put my bottom down. We're going to have one hand slide down the leg. That means that we're slightly turning the body. And at this point, we need to go, okay, so what am I doing with my head here? And where is the most comfortable place? I need to adjust because my spine is slightly sideways. But where is the top of the spine now? And then as I bring my arm over, and clue hint is actually the easiest place is slightly looking towards your armpit. And we're reaching with that arm. It's like we're being pulled off the floor, but we're dropping down the hot plate. Heavy sack of potatoes, so heavy you can't be pulled off the floor. Relax your jaw. Okay. As you come up, see how the head rights itself? All by itself. And then you go all the way down the other side. Again, have a moment. What do I need to do with my legs? So yeah, that pin is all about letting go. Hot plate, sinking, sack of potatoes, heavy. And we're reaching with the arm. And we're now going, where does my head belong? Where's the most comfortable place where I can feel it's on top of the spine? I'm not holding on to it. Relax your jaw. Notice that as soon as you find it, it really makes stretching a lot easier. And we're reaching up. I'm going to come and do this little twist here. So one leg straight, one leg bent. Letting the leg go. So you've got a psoas stretch here, remember. Still sack of potatoes, sinking legs, letting go. Spine feeling loose. Remember, you don't want to hold on to the spine. There's no need. Everything is on the floor. Opposite hand to opposite knee, one hand behind. Now, when we get to these sort of more complex twists where there's a lot going on, very easy for the head to be not on top of the neck, okay? So as you look over the shoulder and go through everything, just double check. You can just do a miniature little circle. Am I really letting go of my neck? Relax your jaw, use the arms and get the shoulders around a little bit further. Breathe in. This is working that upper back pin that we did last week and the week before. So remember all of that. Orangutan your arms, the diaphragm is warm. That Moro reflex like a fire feeding heat upwards into the spine. The shoulder blades, the hot plates also melting their heat down towards the spine. And the spine feels loose every time you breathe in. And then as you go around a tiny bit more, just check your head. Where is it? Can I let it go? Does it feel independent? And then we'll bring ourselves round to the front. Legs straight, other side. Again, lower back pin first. Get yourself into position. Check your head. Where is it? And then upper back pin second. And finally, with some of us who've been here for a while, we might start to be able to go, oh, I can pull all three pins all at the same time. And then we're going to circle. So as you know, I really believe that we can't do all this linear stretching without a bit of circling. And we've got 3 circles today. We've got the lower pin circle. We've got the Moro area circle that can be really tight. So that's why I've got my hand here, because I can see what I'm doing. And then finally, notice that the head, when it's loose off the end of the flagpole there, kind of does its own thing and circles in its own way. I don't need to hold on to it anymore. I'm going one way, and then I'm going the other way. And then I'm going to start to bring all of this to still, and I'm going to stack it all up. Lower hot plate, sinking. Chest, relax. Arms, orangutan. Head in exactly the right place. Relax your jaw. And as you bring yourself to stillness in hopefully a better patterned body, if you ask yourself the question, what is holding on still after all of that? Where haven't I managed to let go just yet? That is probably the reflex that you need to work on most right now. So if it's the upper back, it could be the Moro, or the shoulders, the ATNR. If it's the lower back, it could be the FPR or the hot plate. Or if it's the neck, it's like, oh, maybe I'm still not quite releasing that jaw, letting go in the shoulders enough. Gives you really good clues asking that question. If I was to sit for an hour without moving, what would hurt? And then, of course, you can apply what you know to that area. So if it's your neck, do a little bit of neck stuff. If it's shoulders, you could imagine some of the ATNR reflex moves. Remember, the imagination is just as good as actually doing it. All right, so let's lie down. Now, when we lie down, hopefully the head is going to really appreciate being supported. I always call the head on the floor like the fifth hot plate. It's like I've put a big wok down on my hot plate, and there it is, my head is sinking. Now, a couple of reflex moves just to remind you here. You can do a head rock really nicely. In fact, I prefer it on the floor. It's a really nice one to do in bed, first thing, especially if you've woken up a bit stiff in this area. But we're going to do another one though today, and this is called the pushing one. They've all got more technical names than that, but this is how I remember them. So I guess that's how you remember them as well. So find the place where your head is touching the floor and push into the floor with your head for a count of 3. And then release. And then again, 3. And then release. And then push. And then release. Now, as you release this third time, notice what's happening in your body. Feel how all the other reflex points respond. All the way down. And then we can have the hand on the forehead. And it's like the hand is the floor. Okay, and we're going to push into the hand. Now, you have to sometimes, some people have to find it. They push with their chin or their nose, but not with the forehead. So find the forehead and push into it. 1, 2, 3, and release. 1, 2, 3, and release. You don't have to lift, and it doesn't have to be hard. You just want to be able to feel it again. 1, 2, 3, and release. And again, release the arm and notice what's happening in the body. Let go in the jaw and throat. Lovely. Now this is a bit more ATNR because it's left and right, but it's still part of the head information. So we're going to bring the hand above the ear, that little lump that we've got in the skull, and then we're going to push into the hand. 1, 2, 3, release. Again. 1 more. And letting go of the arm, and again noticing what's happening. Remember this, in the noticing that the nervous system is learning the new patterns. Other side. Push. 1, 2, 3, release. Again. And as the hand comes down, again, just noticing what response you're getting. Deeply patterning in these releases so that the body can remember that. Take a little mental photo. See how loose the head is if you rock it side to side now. It really feels like it's not attached to the body. It's independent. Okay, now with this head the way it is, we're going to place the feet on the ground. And of course, because we're moving the spine, the head is going to roll. Let it push through the feet. We're going to come up into our bridge pose. Now, even as the spine moves, what happens? The head is independent, but it responds to the movement. It starts to roll in quite naturally. Relax the jaw. Feel how the top two hot plates here taking all the weight, like molten lava, pouring down the spine, filling and warmth, letting the arms go even. For those of you that are working on shoulders still, remember you can bring the arms up and over, and again it changes what happens with the head. Releasing even deeper. And then as you come down, one vertebra at a time, remember to stop at the tight point. Stop where it's tight and think, okay, what reflex is this? Most likely it's diaphragm, and you need to use your feet and rock the rib cage. Could also be yes to see though. Do a couple of those. Getting the spine to feel loose. And then coming down again. Orangutan your arms. That could also be it when you find that tight point. Again, work. What reflex is it? Rock side to side, up and down. Relax the shoulders. And don't move on to the next tight point until you've at least had a bit of relief on the point that you were just working on. Until the pelvis is on the floor. And the arms are completely orangutan by your side. You could even give the head a little bit of a rock check. Yep, that's loose. Relax your jaw. Remember to use your core to lift the arms and place them by your sides. Ready for our floor twists. And this week we're going to do a slightly different one where we're placing the ankle on the knee, not the foot. So it's like we've crossed our legs in a chair. And we're just going to push with this foot that's on the floor, lift the pelvis off slightly so we can rotate it a bit. And then bring this foot that we can see over onto the floor. It's a slightly stronger stretch than normal, just warning you. And just notice that the head rolls naturally. I don't have to do anything to get my head to roll. And then I've got the foot there, which means I can relax both legs as best I can. Again, I can bring my hand to my knee if I'm not getting enough of a stretch out of this. And I can have my other hand on the temple here, so that now the hands feel like they're holding my body and that my body in between can relax. And again, beautiful stretches that we could spend a fair bit of time in. As you know, we are a little bit pressed for time always with this class. And we're going to do the other side. So again, you're using the foot on the floor to slightly lift the pelvis around so you're in a better position to roll over, let the head respond by rolling in the other direction. With the foot on the ground, the legs can release. You can use the hand if you want to. Bringing the hand to the forehead, letting go of the shoulders, really orangutan in your arm. Let the whole body soften beneath your hands. And of course, all sorts of reflexes here having to work out what to do. The way you've got the most tightness, that's the one that you'll probably be focusing on. And again, we can just roll ourselves back to center in whatever way is easiest. Feeling all that work. Body's feeling like heavy, heavy sack of potatoes I don't want to pick up. But we do have one last stretch, and that's the fish. So we're going to sit on our hands and stretch out our legs. Immediately letting them go, but engaging the core. As you roll the elbows in, think about this. We're using the arms, but we want to orangutan them. And we're pushing through the hot plate at the top of the body, relaxing the jaw, and the head is heavy. It's dangling off. Every time I breathe in, my spine is reaching, opening out. Landau reflex, that one. And again, you don't want to pick up your head when you're done here. You just want to release the hands from underneath you. You could even use your hands to roll the head in so you don't have to do any work at all. Get the head back into a good position, releasing the arms. And of course, we couldn't do relaxation without doing an FPR, one of the de-stressor rocks. So let's have the feet on the floor and allow this little push to come in. By now, the body's hopefully feeling quite jelly-like. And of course, the head on the end of all of this is just doing whatever it wants. The whole motion is coming from the feet. So that the whole body can be soft. All the bones just being jigged around. Let yourself surrender to that jig, including the neck and jaw. Find your rhythm. A very powerful reflex move. And so we need to bring it to stillness at some point. And then very consciously observing what happens in the body as that nervous system switches into that relaxation. Feeling the weight of the limbs, the weight of the head. For the last time, as we finish this particular round of reflex work, in this particular way, using the same relaxation we've been using, where the body is an ocean. And so you feel how the whole body is an ocean. All the muscles like water, so soft. And then letting go of the bones. So as you breathe in, the breath is like a wave through this ocean. Breathing in, send the wave down to the toes and feet. Feel the toes and feet. Watery warm. The bones letting go. Feeling how they're floating inside you, as if they were flotsam. Just floating inside the water as you breathe. Feeling the breath as it comes down through the legs. Warm, watery thighs, calves and shins. And those big bones, again, also floating inside you. Moving gently to the wave of your breath. As you breathe into the pelvis oscillating in the water, expanding and contracting. The tail free to move however it wants. That wateriness as it comes up through the tail, through the spine, all the way up to the top of the neck. The vertebrae like little boats bobbing up and down to the wave of your breath. And as you breathe into the chest, the shoulder blades, the breastbone, they too are just floating inside you, moving gently to the wave of your breath. And as you breathe in, feeling the breath as it travels down through the shoulders, arms, through to the hands and fingers, all the little bones in the hands and the big bones in the arms, also just floating inside you. And moving gently to the wave of your breath. And feeling the breath as it comes up into the throat and the neck. And like a wave, it travels up the back of the head, through the scalp and the crown, and gently crashes on the forehead, spreading the water around the eyes, through the cheeks and lips, and back deep into the throat again. Breathing in, we're just aware of this ocean and the wave passing through it. The bones floating, the gentle wave crashing on the forehead, letting go of all the tension in the face and jaw. And as you breathe out, becoming aware of the weight of the body. Water is heavy and it sits on the ocean floor with such ease. There's no holding back, just is. And so as you breathe in, you can feel this wave passing through you. And as you breathe out, you can feel the body sinking deeply into the earth. Breathing in with the watery, floating nature of the bones, and breathing out, feeling the weight of the body letting go. And now just having a moment to feel the two together. You feel both the ocean's floor and the weight, the softness of the water, the bones floating, all at the same time. And with that, as always, as you're at home, relax for as long as you need to. Gently wave myself goodbye. And I'll see you all next week. Enjoy.